For this project, we are going to be having to create our own guidelines so that we can make our text size the way we need to. So what we're going to talk about today is just how to make those lines and how to get your Canvas set up. So let me turn this off real quick because I had them already on already. What you need is a screen size document. So if you go to your gallery and you hit plus and then you hit screen size, that's what you need. It'll be the size of your whole screen. Okay, and once we have this open, we need to do some setup. So you're going to go to the wrench at the top and turn on your drawing guide. Now, your drawing guide may not look exactly like mine because I've already tweaked some of my settings. I like to turn the opacity down to about 20 is probably good. And with the new scribble feature, if you want a specific amount, you can write it over the number and it will automatically change. So say I want to just set that to 60, it'll go automatically to 60, which is very cool, I think. So let's use that to our advantage so that you can set up your stuff in exactly the same way. You can change this to 80 pixels. PX is shortened for pixels. We don't need assisted drawing turned on. What happens when you turn on assisted drawing is your lines will just snap alongside the grid lines, but we don't need that because we're going to be using another way to get everything set. You can also see up here we've got this color. You can change the color of your drawing guides if you want. I like a nice blue-gray, like so. So we need to take this and we're going to make some lines that are going to be the guidelines for where the top of our letters are, where the ascending parts and where the descending parts are. So the fundamental understanding is that there are essentially, at its most basic in calligraphy, 3 sections for the letter. So let's just go ahead and start with one line right here in the middle. Now I'm going to draw a straight line, let it snap, and then if you press your finger down on the screen, it will lock to nice, even little increments. If you let go before you let go with your pencil, it'll snap to the wrong spot. So I'm just gonna make my line, press my finger down on the screen so it locks, and go like so. And let's see. This we're gonna call, this is the X line. It's called the X line. This is where the top of our lowercase letters will meet for the most part, unless they are letters with ascenders, which are like H's and B's and anything with stuff that goes above that line. We'll get to it. So this is our X line. Now, for our proportions for our ascenders and descenders, we are going to do a ratio 2, 4, 2 ratio, which means that there will be essentially the, like, if we were to reduce this, so 1, 2, 1, this is going to be the top line here. Let's make this, I'm very bad at explaining numbers, so I apologize if this comes out confusing. So this is going to be 4 units above. 4 units above, and this is the ascender line. This is the line for where the lines with the letters with ascenders will go to, and then this in our 2-4-2 ratio means that this is going to be twice as much because 4 is twice as much as 2. So we need 8 units, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, count it down, go across, let it snap, hold my finger down to get it nice and straight, and this is now 8 units. Units in this case being squares. Units in the traditional calligraphy sense are like the width of the pen is what determines it, but in our case, we're just going to use the grid. It'll make our lives a lot easier. And then, obviously, there's another number here at the end, so 4 units down from our bottom line here. This is going to be 4. This is our descender line. Apologize for my bad handwriting. We're gonna work on that, I suppose. Okay, so I'm actually going to select these things that I just drew because I don't necessarily want all of them on the same layer. So I'm going to cut and paste. I'm going to select each section. Sorry, this is boring for you, I'm sure. So what I'm doing is swiping down with 3 fingers, and it just takes, opens up that menu that you just saw. Very useful as a shortcut. Swipe down with 3 fingers, cut and paste. Perfect. And I'm going to take off the selection tool. Another thing you can do is pinch with 2 fingers and it will merge the layers. You could also like tap on them and hit merge down, but pinching's faster. Looks like I lost a bit of that line, but that's okay. Okay, so now that we have these main horizontal lines, we need to determine the slant. So the text we've been practicing has largely been slightly italicized text. So on a separate layer here, I'll use the same color. We need to make our italicized lines. Now we can use the snap tool to our advantage here too. So I'm gonna go up here and I'm just going to hold my finger down so it snaps to exactly vertical here, snaps to exactly there. So I know every time I draw this line, it will be that width. I'm going to do 4 units for the spacing. And because of that handy dandy snap feature, everything I know will be perfectly parallel. It may not be perfectly exactly on the dot 4 units, but it'll be close enough that I should be able to use this with reasonable certainty. Okay, so now I've created a grid that I can use for my project. Where is that? That's still on that other layer? Of course it is. Just grab this. And put this up here. There. Just hide everything, hide all my mistakes. Okay, so now that we have this, let's talk a little bit about ascenders and descenders. So let's grab one of our calligraphy pens. Whichever one you grab is up to you. You can use the DK standard as you're getting used to things, that's fine. I'm gonna pick a different color so it's easier to see, very, very bright. Let me just make sure, let's see, it's a little skinny for this size of line. Okay, so we're talking about ascenders and descenders. So a letter with no ascenders or descenders, let's say E, like so. It goes from line to line. It's maybe a little bit big, but you can see essentially it goes up to that X line. And I would stray up into the ascender territory. However, we have got letters like Y that will go down into the descender. That was maybe a little bit. There we go, like so. You'll notice that you should be keeping the slant the same. Now, I will be the first to admit I am not the, I don't know, exact, perfect, always great at everything calligraphy person, but serviceable. Our uppercase letters are going to go up to the very top line. So if we have a T, like so, we'll go all the way up to the top line. Let's see. I've already done an example, so I'm just going to turn all this off, turn this on. There we go. As you can see, it is exactly the same. I have my T, it goes up to the very top line. I've got a lowercase t that is an ascender, goes up above the X line. I've got all my other letters lining up at my X line. My exclamation point goes higher and my Y descends below. You want to keep your consistent spacing between the letters, which is why we created those diagonal lines, and equal spacing is helping this look like one big word that all looks good together. Another trick that I really like is, say you've made a mistake, which I did right here on this exclamation mark. If you use the exact same brush that you used to draw with, so let me see if I remember what I used for this. It was this one. So if you use the same brush, let me actually select the correct layer. If you use the same brush for your eraser, you can make it look a lot more natural than if you did not. So let me see. You can see how it kind of blends in a little bit better than that fuzzy line did, which, not perfect, and it was kind of a slap together example. But for your project, you are going to need to pick 3 words that go together, that are not live, laugh, love, because that's been done a million times, and I'm sure you could find a million examples to base yours off of. I want you to pick 3 of your own words to go together. You're going to make 3 individual compositions by the end of this, so they're going to need to go together, but they're going to be separate canvases by themselves. So you see how this particular one takes up the entire space. That is on purpose. It takes up the whole space, and we're going to do some stuff with our background and clipping mask and things like that, but don't worry about that for right now. I want you to pick your 3 words, submit your 3 words to this assignment, and I want you to go ahead and start practicing your font. So you'll notice that this is not any particular font that you practiced. I kind of put together a little bit of my own sort of thing going on here, but definitely it should still be readable. It should still look like word art. It should look like art and not like handwriting. So pick your 3 words, submit them to this assignment, and you are good to go. So if you have any questions, you can always ask, and I will be here for you.